Tom, let's talk about the ATF pistol brace. Is that still a thing? They're rules. We hear about the Firearms Policy Coalition and injunction. What's really happening with the ATF pistol brace rule?
A lot of things just to kind of make sure we're all playing from the same deck of cards here, right? So on January 31st, the ATF issued their pistol brace rule, basically saying, look, effectively all pistol-braced pistols are now going to be considered to be short-barrel rifles, i.e. a felony without proper compliance, which you can't do in every state. You can only do that in many, but not all states, right?
Yep.
And they gave you a bunch of options, and we won't bore you on all the details, okay? If you want those details, let us know in the comment field below if you want us to make another video going through all that. But otherwise, we then saw a wave of lawsuits break out in the next days to even a couple weeks there, okay? And a lot of people didn't know what was going to happen. Of course, May 31st was the drop dead date for the so-called amnesty or grace period that the ATF was giving in order for people to comply or to take the devices off or not, depending upon whether or not you believed what they were saying in writing or if you believed how they testified before Congress, which, were kind of incongruent and at odds with each other. But hey,
there was some confusion surrounding that.
Yeah, confusion. We'll charitably call it confusion. So, and that's not on the people. That's on the ATF. Just so we're on the same page there, okay? All right. So where do we stand today? Well, where we stand today is that out of all the different lawsuits, one of them has gone up to the Federal Circuit Court of Appeals, the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, which is based out of Louisiana. Now, there are other lawsuits that are basically trapped in different district courts, federal district courts around the country. Most of them are in Texas, but there are some elsewhere. And the gist to it is all of those are, in essence, paused. They're all just put on the slow track, and we're waiting for this to wind up being resolved by the Fifth Circuit before inevitably gets appealed up to the U.S. Supreme Court. So that's basically what's happening is all those lawsuits are kind of racing to see who could be the first one to go up to a Circuit Court of Appeals, and then beyond that, up to the U.S. Supreme Court. Because
I'm pausing the video quickly to remind you that we have a secret giveaway going on that ends really soon, and it's free to enter. Just click the link in the description below to reveal what you could win. Now back to the video. It's going to get there.
It's going to get there. There's too many people. There's too many risks. There's too many legal issues. There's one way or another, it's going to get to the U.S. Supreme Court, I think. And I say one way or another because one way is the path we're on right now, where people are challenging the legality of the rule. Is it a violation of the Administrative Procedures Act, the APA? Is it a violation of the Second Amendment? Was it arbitrary and capricious? Was it all these different things, right? Or the other way could get there, and there's more ways, but these are definitely the two main lanes. If somebody gets arrested and criminally charged for being in possession of a short barrel rifle of a pistol with a stabilizing brace, and that person then basically contests the nature of the SBR, short barrel rifle charges against them, saying, look, this isn't a rifle, this is a pistol with a stabilizing brace, right? So that's going to be the arguments of, is this going to be going up in a criminal procedure mindset, or is this going to be going up in administrative and purely constitutional test? And the arguments are going to be slightly different between them. But that's the road
And
ahead.
the way it stands here, we at the USCCA believe this is an overreach of the ATF's authority. They shouldn't be making this rule. But it's out there, and people should be aware of it. People who had they're not short-barreled rifles, or are they now? People who had an AR-15.
According to the ATF, they are.
Yeah. People who had an AR-15 style pistol that had a stabilizing brace on it should have removed that brace or registered as a short barrel. They should have done something by May 31st. And now the rest of that is working its way through the courts. That's, in a nutshell, what we're seeing?
In a nutshell, it's what we're seeing. That doesn't mean that if you did not register with the E-Form 1, right, and if you still have it on, that does not mean that you are immune to any kind of arrest and prosecution. The ATF has basically said that once their so-called grace period expires, May 31st, that they're open to enforcement action. Okay. So my non-legal legal advice would be, if you're not in compliance, that's not the time for you to be flaunting things on social media, going to ranges and so forth.
Unless, of course, you want to be that test case you just talked about, that case that they're going to push forward up to the Supreme Court. And when we're talking about that, that's going to be years of headaches for somebody if this comes to a criminal trial.
Oh, years of headaches, tens of thousands of dollars if they're lucky. I mean, as far as legal fees go, it would be a true nightmare through and through.
Yeah, right now it's all just kind of a mess, but it is out there. It's something we're all dealing with. I guess it's just part of being a gun owner. So
it's part of the joys of this hobby and this passion, and it's more than that. It's of course it's a human right that the U.S. Supreme Court, as well as other jurists and politicians and thinkers throughout American history, have been very clear about the fact that the Second Amendment does not give us the right. It recognizes the pre-existing right.
Yeah, and it protects that right from the government. So.
Exactly.
Well, thanks again, Tom. Your insight is always great and welcome. I really enjoy talking with you about guns.
Thanks, Kevin.
Congratulations, you made it all the way to the end of the video, so you know what that means. You get to try to guess how many rounds of ammo are in the cup. And we're going to randomly choose one winner, one person who gets it right. I'm going to put their name on the screen. You get to be famous like me. Before you go, you just missed one of our best videos that got over 500,000 views. Click right here to watch it now.